I wanted to say, Miss McGlynn, thank you so much for playing Zara in Critical Role.
Yay!
Big fan. And beyond that, my question is actually for all four of you. When you guys aren't traveling and working and doing things like this, what do you guys like to do for fun and just relax? Like read or drink a cup of tea? Like, what do you personally like to do when you're not working?
Take walks, go to movies, sit and read a book.
Solid.
A friend of mine had an old friend, 80 years old, lived in New Orleans, who was a photographer. And we got to visit him when we were down there, and just a wacky guy. And he said, yeah, people always keep asking me if I'm gonna retire. So I finally looked up retirement, and it said when you quit working and take up a hobby. So I looked up hobby, and the first thing it said was photography. So, when I'm not working, I'm working. I mean, I'm a writer, I'm a composer, I have all kinds of projects. And I do like to walk. I'm an urban hiker. Seattle is a beautiful place to hike around in, so I tend to take 6-8 mile hikes in town.
Great.
I love photography as well. I got into astrophotography, so I love, I think we went to another convention in Hawaii, and we walked out on the beach on the big island in the middle after the sun went down, and bam, there's the Milky Way, and I was like, how do I capture that on film or on digital? And I met this great photographer, so I love that, and I'm gonna end up doing that, I think, forever. The other is to try and get our 20-pound cats to not climb me with their velociraptor claws. Because those scars don't go away. They don't, but, and then just hang with this guy. It's just, we found each other late in life, and it's like, all of a sudden we get another shot at all of it, so it's just living life, and and burning hands! Which is a great first level spell for sorcerers and wizards, I guess.
I have a burning something else going on right now. I want to walk with you guys. I love to go outside. That's my favorite thing. I try to do it 20 minutes a day if I possibly can. I think Deepak Chopra said that you should go outside every day for 20 minutes for well-being. And I meditate, I like spending time with our animals. Anything that is outside and away from electronics and away from all the noise is what soothes my soul. And I love getting out in nature and hiking as much as I possibly can. It's not as easy for us, but we find our way, so.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Oh, hi. I know, it's sensitive.
Welcome to voice acting.
I have a question for Steve. So since I was around 7, I've been a fan of your work, and a decade later, I'm trying to get into voice acting, and I was wondering, what was your favorite part of working in Dragon Age? How'd you get working into such a big company?
Favorite part of working on Dragon Age was when I came up to the microphone and they kept saying, "More drunk." And they actually brought booze to the studio and tried to get me to drink it while I was working, which would have been a much longer process for recording. It was an amazing thing. To get to play a character like Ogren was ridiculous, and especially to say the things that he got to say. That's not a normal thing in video games. And they just, as far as I would push it, they tell me to push it farther. So anytime you're in a situation like that where people are not only creative and hilarious, but they let you go as far as you want to take it, and they record everything and use almost everything, it's just a joyful process. That is not always the case. Sometimes they're very precious with their words, and rightfully so, because they've been working on it for 3 or 4 years before we even walk into the studio. But that was an instance where we got to play, and I love those guys for that. So thanks for listening and playing, and please fart me a lullaby.
Hello, everyone. Oh, wow, this is loud. First off, I just want to thank Mary and Steve for your autograph yesterday. You guys were so nice to me. You literally made my day. But my question for you guys is, everyone's talking about a Cowboy Bebop sequel or even a live-action movie. What I really want is like a prequel. Would you be interested if they ever made like a prequel that talked about how like Julia and Spike met?
Yes.
Yes?
We're working on that now. It's like every day. I mean,
I don't know, it's like one of those things, it's such a beautiful, like, it's such a beautiful thing, and it was the perfect length. Like the whole series was the perfect length, and we did a movie. We actually did a game that never saw the light of day, and we started recording it, but I don't know, like, would you want to do, I would do a prequel. I wouldn't want to do anything sort of beyond that, because it ruins this perfect thing that was sort of, it's what it was.
And they had so much mystery behind them. I just want to know more about them. Like, how they met. Like,
Yeah.
did they, like, what happened?
We met in a recording studio.
Yeah.
We did. 18 years ago, she taught me how to act, and I've been in
I
love with her.
stalked cast him for 18 years to make sure I would see him all the time, even though we were with other people. I did. I actually was like, let's go see Blum. He'd be good. It's a 12-year-old girl. Steve Blum would be good for that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hello everyone. I had one question, but now I have two. Steve, why is everyone talking about your socks?
Why does everyone talk about my socks?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know they were talking about, they were his
We're
socks.
talking about
Yeah.
this socks.
My socks.
What's up with your socks?
Well,
It needs to change.
I really need to change them.
Gross.
I darn his socks.
No, actually, I put on
Especially with all
fresh
this hype.
socks this morning, and she actually does darn my socks, because she learned how when she was,
Yes, when I was in high school, I visited a friend, Shayna Hollander, and her mother, Ann Hollander, taught me how to darn socks.
and so my Darth Vader socks had a hole in the toe, and now they don't anymore, so yeah. No, that was just a joke. They asked me what I would do if I went back in time, what I would change, and I said I would change my socks, and that was humor. It was absurdity to elicit laughter, and
The
what
best
is
part about
elicited?
humor is explaining it.
It seems to elicit is confusion.
Although he is doing sock puppetry under the table, you can't see.
That's right.
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah, really.
And I think I'm going to ask a question that everyone in the room is wondering. Ms. McLain, has Valve hinted anything about a Portal sequel to any of the games that have come before?
If they have not told me.
It turns out that Gabe Newell was assaulted by the number 3 when he was.
That's funny. Don't have to explain that one.
Thank you. Show us your moves.
Joseph,
Best dance moves.
Show us your what? Best
Show
dance
us your
moves.
moves. Thank you.
The best question yet.
Simple classic question for all of you. What do you prefer voicing, heroes or villains?
Oh, villains.
I mean, I've gotten to voice some wonderfully complex characters, and I am a big fan of moral ambiguity. And when I have the most fun is when my characters are put in positions where they really have to make decisions where there's no best decision. And but the old saw is that villains get all the best songs.
That's true.
Because we're all secretly in love with our dark side, and we love anyone who actually gets to express that. But really, most of the characters that I'm famous for are kind of, the sniper, is he a good guy or a bad guy? He's a professional killer who insults you after he kills you. So, that make him bad or just misunderstood? I don't know.
It seems to me that heroes have a much more complicated journey to go on than villains do. By the time we see a villain, they're very clear about their intention and what they want, and embrace it. I play Governor Price on Star Wars Rebels. She has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. She wants power, and that is it, and she'll do whatever she can to get it. So it's fun to play someone that has that kind of clarity, because I don't in my own life, by any means. So.
My answer is yes. I love playing anything they'll pay me for, honey. Yeah, and there's sometimes a fine or indefinable line between the heroes and the villains, and I've been lucky enough to play sort of anti-heroes, which are at times villains. So
Vincent, sort of an anti-hero?
Vincent, Wolverine, Amon, all these all these characters that could be perceived either way, depending on your perspective. So life is about perspective. So the answer for me is yes.
Thank you.